Yo, what's going on out there, YouTube? We are back for another Mandalorian season 2. This is chapter 12, called The Siege. We about to just get right into it. This is a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it, come back to us, and we will go and filter as much as our thoughts about this episode for the good, bad, or ugly as we thought about this episode. So first off, Rip, what did you guys think about the siege? What was the standout for the episode for you? And then what I think I'll phrase it differently. What was the thing that stood out about this episode that you really liked? And what was the thing that you kind of disliked, just off rip from this episode?
Mr. Lucas.
Oh, I always got to go first. That is, I feel as the elder, I should have at least have the privilege of going last, not first. But first, what I liked about the episode is the action scenes and the way they were shot. It was done really, really well, and it surprised me that Carl Weathers directed this episode. I think that they ramped up a lot of the action in this episode. I know people think that last episode 3 was action packed. To me, it wasn't. It was kind of boring. But this one, I love the shots. I love the chase scenes, everything about it. I loved it in this episode. And the thing I also did not like also involved Mr. Carl Weathers and his horrible, horrible jokes and wooden acting, or I don't know if it was purposely done that way or what, but man, he is like the best and the worst in this episode.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I love the score here. Thought the score was really well done. Classic Mandalorian score work, but also some little twists and renditions of classic Star Wars melodies. So I definitely like that. I will say the one thing I was a little bit confused about after last week, we kind of focused on the title a little bit. And that's kind of like a technique, kind of like me and Lou doing other reviews. Like we kind of like say, well, why does the title imply to this episode? Well, then what this one's called The Siege. And I'm like, well, what was The Siege? Because maybe I missed something. That's typically when, it's a strategy in the military use in taking over a town or something of some sort. And did I miss something? Because I didn't see that. So I guess like for me, I was kind of like looking at like, well, what is this episode going to be about? And then you see the title and then you watch and you're like, well, that didn't happen. So, but and for the 4 weeks we've been doing this, like I have to tear myself between being a Star Wars fan and just being somebody who reviews different types of media and so on. So like as a critic, then it's like I don't see how some of these things kind of correlate. But much to what Lou said, I totally agree. But I did love the score. Thought the score was really well done for this. And The Mandalorian continues to surprise with effects. Like it's not a surprise because you don't expect for it to be this good. But it's like, damn, these are some good ass effects on your regular television right now. Also, I don't want to keep going on, but if you have Dolby, if you have any Dolby Atmos sound systems, it's like literally criminal if you do not. But if you do, you definitely want to listen to it in that episode because the sounds are so enhanced. And this is all at our television screen. So like I just get surprised like week after week. You're like, wow, I'm getting big screen production each and every Friday.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with a bit of all of that. I think that this episode, to what Lucas said, like last episode, it was a better episode to me, but I think that the action in this one, it just kept on excelling. And it also had this classic Star Wars feel to it, for the good and the bad. Some were fleeting jokes, and then some of it was like, okay, this is a classic Star Wars action-packed moment. It felt like I'm watching a movie, and I really did appreciate the visual effects and the immersion of it. I think to talk about the siege, the whole point was his name Griff, right? Carl Weathers' character's name Griff. Griff and Cara intercept Mando in this one, and of course, Cara now is working in the guise of kind of like the sheriff or working to help people more, as opposed to what she was doing before. But they have an ulterior motive to wanting to get him to help them. And it was to take out of this Imperial base that was kind of off the cuff that they couldn't attack themselves. And so I think the whole point was they were gonna go and attack this base, but they end up just destroying the whole entire thing. But they dropped the kid off at the school. What did y'all think about that, Drake?
He deserves to be bullied.
We know he's a murderer. And now
a predator.
A predator. And now we know he's a thief.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if he's even on the way of the Force. Because he's using his Jedi tactics for bad things.
Hey, that's what I was about to say. Like, is he like Anakin Light or what here? Because this makes no sense. He's using his Force for everything negatively.
Well, I definitely want to add something to that. Here's something super interesting.
Okay.
So he's the asset, and we heard at the end of the episode about the M count. And the M count is a correlation to basically just the number down, is how much Force energy does a certain person have. Uh-huh. And we know that Yoda is one of the ones who has like one of the most, one of the biggest M counts. But do you know who also had bigger than him? It's not even a hard guess, but it's Anakin. So you remember on this, they said that, we don't think we can find anybody with a bigger M count than this guy. So I'm thinking to myself like, I think they're laying down the blueprint right now. This little baby Yoda person, there's a reason why we never seen him in anything else. They're gonna like, oh, we're not letting Anakin 2.0 happen. This dude's a little bit on the wild side. We're gonna have to make sure that we handle this the right way this time. He's not the chosen one.
So that's a hard man. That's going into deeper things because at this point, Luke would be right around his 20s, and he hasn't even started to ramp up training people yet. So it's kind of like the kid. One of the things with the Jedi Order is like they wanted to recruit kids while they were very young to be able to make sure that they know their guidance, know where they need to be. And I mean, he definitely is using his abilities in the worst kind of ways. It's just hilarious to me. I'm sorry. Like every single time this little kid is just having the time of his life, I'm like, that is what a kid does. Like straight up. Like it's just, he's dangerous. That's the problem. The problem is he's straight up dangerous. Like when he took the little kid's cookies, I was like, I'm surprised the little kid didn't fight him back for real. Look, he was like, all right, whatever. He took his cookies and he didn't move. He's not fighting him. He don't know how the hell he got the cookies. And then the little, I want to say no word, the little bugger then eats the cookie and turns to the teacher like, yeah, now listen to her. Don't look at me. These my cookies now. Like, that's what got me more than anything. It was the turn to look at the teacher like, yeah, these mine now. Don't even worry about it. So yeah, it's weird because then he, just like a little kid would do, he's sitting there just eating them joints, having the time of his life. Mando in one of the most dope aerial fights, that they've kind of had, just going and doing his thing. Now that the ship is working, because I was like, this whole entire time, even using this ship crippled. Like, I mean, the ship hasn't been really working and active. Now he got a full-on ship. And so when they do their corkscrews, this little kid, like, he was like doing this, and all of a sudden, spit all up everywhere. I was like, that is a classic child, straight up. Like, that seems realistic to me.
Yeah, they want y'all to feel he's so innocent and all this. He's so cute and all these. Yeah, 2 episodes prior to this. And people went online. It's so funny because people were online defending it, and then people were just like, no, a spade is a spade. This dude is a predator.
Yeah, he'll eat anything. Like, for real. Like,
he'll eat your whole species and don't care if you are the last of it either.
Yep. That's what he tried to do. Is kill their whole species.
Genocide at its peers.
So all right, so let's switch gears real quick. Got this man, he came back. All right. So he made his appearance in this episode, Moff Gideon. And before that even happened, you find out that the Imperial base that they were trying to, take out because they figured it was only a small amount of people. But no, like it was being defended because it was a laboratory. And in the laboratory, they had been cloning and altering things. It also made connection, of course, to the child. But what are they doing here? I'm just curious, you guys' thoughts. This is all theory, you guys. Unless you guys know something I don't know. The next shot right here, I'll pull it up, is the thing that was confusing to me. What is going on? Like,
so
right
this has been the most. This is what I've been wanting to talk about the most here because I don't know. That's why I want to lay out some theories. Number one, this episode is a clear display of the clones being trash. I mean, I don't know who's worse, the clones or putties. Like they're neck and neck for being the worst army ever. But so you think Moff is going to move with a more elite squad? We've seen different elite stormtroopers throughout time. But this is one that we totally really haven't seen. But have we? Because a part of me started thinking like, yo, is this the Purge troopers from Jedi Fallen Order? And would they be doing something like that? And I'm thinking like, of course we've already known, like, if you play the Jedi Fallen Order, and again, this is just a theory here. We know they're more of an elite squad, and we know they can handle their own. So is this a sense of like, are we seeing clones being made, specialized clones being made, replicating Jedi, using the M count to replicate or to use these genetics in the production of these troops? But they don't have enough to make a whole army, so they're only making a core amount to run with Moff and do what he got to do. So whatever it may be, if they're a group that we've already seen before, or if they're not, we know they're going to be a special elite squad, much like the Red Squad that was with Kylo Ren, not Kylo Ren. What's his name that Kylo Ren killed in like 10 seconds? What's his name? Yeah, everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, but yeah, him or something of that sort. So that's what I'm getting with that, and I love that because what I really love about a good series is that I like to see the goods get good, but I also like to see the bads get bad. I hate when it's so lopsided that you just see the good guys get better and better, and they do what they got to do, and it's like the bad guys got one shot and that's it. And it's just like, no, we see Moff being strategical. He has the dark saber. He has these group of clones who clearly got something to do with the Force here, or the M count, and he's getting right for war. He's not sweating at all. He barely moved. That's what I like to see from a bad guy. I want the bad guy to know that he's in control, even when the viewers may not think he did. So I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Lucas, you got something? I got a theory. What you got, Lucas?
Well, all I saw from and talking to somebody who unfortunately reads a lot of Star Wars books, and I mean unfortunately in the best way humanly possible. All he told me was those were the dark troopers that are powered by the dark side of the Force. They're also powered by the dark side of the Force.
Yep.
So he said when he saw that, he said that's the first thing that popped into his head, and he said it's taking some more myths away from the books, which they've done a little bit in this series, and they just enhanced it by putting it here. That's all he told me about it. Because again, I don't know much about it, but then he told me about it that way.
Yeah.
And we've seen the Dark Troopers season 1. So it could be that, and we could just be seeing the origin of why they are the elites. Or it could be like, well, the Dark Troopers didn't hold their own last time. I need to step it up. And that's why they need the kid.
I'm about to say, and it plays a lot. I think for what most people who believe is the Dark Troopers, it plays a lot into the reason that the base was there.
Exactly.
Because we clearly know that they were ciphering blood to make something Force sensitive. And it would make sense for them to do it to the Dark Troopers.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because there have been throughout this whole entire Star Wars, even just the movie universe in general, clones. Like clones have been a big prevalent thing with the tide of the war shifting and changing since the Clone Wars. And even in the last, Rise of the Skywalker, your boy Palpatine was a clone. You know what I'm saying? Like what he did with what's the name? He was a clone. And I'm just curious, like the people that were guarding, what is this guy's name from The Last Jedi? Oh my gosh, what is his name?
Oh boy.
Snoke.
There we go. Good job.
Snoke. He had this whole red army that we never saw what they even looked like. We had no idea, but they were able to go up against Kylo Ren and near about kill him if he didn't have Rey on his hands. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't just get training from that. Like they are a little bit extra. So
I mean, and again, I think for live action, there's not a big explanation to this. So again, while we're getting so much about the origins of the good people, now we're getting origins of, well, why are these stormtroopers not white? You know, what's different with them? Or like, I see the white ones all the time. Aren't they the best? Well, this episode showed you that they can't even ride their scooter without running into each other. They're the bottom of the bottom. They're the most disposable. And that's why Moff isn't caring. And that's why he's like, we're good. Look around the room right now. And that's why we're seeing the correlation of, well, why are they better? It's not just the armor, because the armors are all, I think, made the same. But why are they different? And it's just like, because we are investing just a little bit more on these, you know? So it's really good storytelling for both Mandalorian storylines and just Star Wars fans. Like, this is really good. Yeah. And if you know nothing about nothing, it's still good. You know what I mean? You can enjoy this without having to know all the like backstories about stuff.
Clearly, because I know none of it. I just like as I do. I just say, ooh, they're black this time. And as Wesley said, you always bet on black. So
oh my god.
Wesley's better than the Wale references, by the way. So
I'm not rooting for them, so I couldn't say I was rooting for everything black. I don't think those would be the things to root for black.
I'm pleading the fifth. I'm not even in the conversation. But no, I think that everything all centers around what the kid is capable of and what Moff Gideon is trying to get from him to do. And I keep saying it, but who is Moff Gideon working for? Like, I don't think that this is just his prime directive. I feel like somebody is influencing and showing him a way to go. Now, if it's like, I don't know, Darth Maul or somebody like that, cool. But I'm just really curious where this is really going and how far they're willing to take it. Now that the Skywalker franchise is out of the picture, they can really go with it. And then Rian Johnson, he's got his own franchise coming, right? That's still a thing, Lucas?
But this is supposed to still be taking place during the time of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
So I know people don't want to put two and two together here, but you might as well put two and two together. It's there, you know who's in charge here.
It's absolutely, and I almost thought we were about to see him this episode for a quick second. That thing, it is not even a question of who he's working for.
It's not a
Vader.
Question. It's not a question
always
at
Vader.
all who he's working for. The question is, how much are they going to show? That's the biggest question.
Wait, hold on. How is it Vader if this is after oh my god, Return of the Jedi?
Isn't that around the time that Anakin would have came into power?
No.
Not came into
this
power.
Is between episode 3 and 4, I thought, right?
Yes, this is between. That's what I meant. This was supposed to be between episodes 3 and 4.
I thought that the Death Star had already been taken out, and that Luke has, preserved his father's legacy, and now is going off to start.
Now we're just all confused on which.
I'm about to check because I always get confused.
Now we got to figure it out, because I thought that remember when we went to the episode that had them at the small town, they were like, after everything was done and the Death Star finally the second time was gone, things didn't get much better. And because
it's between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, so it's 7 and it's 6 and 7.
Yeah, so Vader's dead. Like, there is no Vader at this point. So
then, if Vader's dead, they wouldn't be Darth Maul either.
I see. It's a little no. It is Darth Maul, because Darth Maul. They never ever said what happened to him. And I'll take away the animated series, but they never said what happened to him when he failed. You know what I mean? They just say like he just failed. We know that there's been other things that have just failed and all of a sudden reappeared. So no,
The question would be the people who built up Kylo. Wouldn't that be the people who are trying to insert their power now?
See now,
because
see,
if this is between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, it would be during that time period that the people came into power that are attempting to build Kylo Ren to be the person that he is.
That's what I'm saying. But we don't know who created the First Order aside from Snoke. Like, we just know that it was this gradual progression from the New Republic and then eventually the First Order. I mean, it definitely seems like it's getting there, but there's so many years in between that time. That's why I was talking about the Rian Johnson story, because that was supposed to be taking place between that. So
I thought the Rian Johnson story was supposed to be taking place after the Skywalker saga.
Is it?
Yes.
Man, now we're confusing each other now.
Yes, Rian Johnson's story was supposed. That's why they showed the kid at the end of The Last Jedi. He was supposed to be the branching point off for Rian Johnson's separate story. So his story was taking place after that point. I think right now, with it being at this point in the middle where they can do almost anything, maybe you need to start looking at the books to see who are the people in between the movies and the books, because that's clearly the direction they're tending to be going into. I think Disney never wanted to lean into the books for the movies, but they'll gladly lean into the books for the shows.
Shoot, man. All right, so
just to answer your question really quick, just so because I know we was all over the place. I mean, nonetheless, if you want to, if we just want to throw out theories, because now I got a little bit confused too. It's got at this point, then it's got to be Snoke, and then obviously we know Snoke is being the strings are being pulled by Palpatine, so and it's just because he's still part of the Imperial soldiers. There's still shall I say, a government still being ran, and he just follows within rank. So, and I guess it's like we're looking for who's the big person pulling the name. I mean, there's obviously probably room for somebody else to be introduced. So, I mean, it's good. That still makes it very interesting,
Yeah, it's still a lot we just really don't know, and it makes possibilities of anybody showing up endless. But what did y'all think about, I guess, the part that we're not talking about, which is the banter between Griff, Cara, Mando, and I forget what the other dude's name is. The random alien guy. I forgot his name.
His Bluefish Man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him Bluefish Man.
Like, he was calling it out like it was. Like, I was like, you know what? It ain't no guardrail around there. Like, why are we doing this? What are we?
I thought that was funny too.
All I was distracted by was Carl Weathers, and I don't know if he was purposely doing the wooden I can't act thing, or if that's actually the way he they're back and forth whenever it involved Carl just seems off. It's like trying to land a joke and a joke repeatedly doesn't land, and then you're stuck. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like the blue guy was carrying the whole discussion.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna kind of bring it into. Like, he was the most interesting out of the bunch. Like, Gina was the action person, Mondo, of course, doing action, but Carl was just kind of like the OG, just kind of chilling back. I was low key, I thought that Griff was gonna get killed in this episode, to be honest with you. Like, it kept on feeling like, yeah, he's gonna be sacrificing himself to do something. But maybe it was because he was directing. He was focusing on directing, and
no, we're not gonna let him get that excuse off, buddy. No. There's been plenty of people that direct things, and their performances just don't come across as bad as Carl Weathers does in this episode. So I don't know if it was purposely done, though. That's the key part. Maybe it was purposely done for him to be as bad, because maybe they thought if he's as bad as he is, that the jokes will land better. Like that whole back and forth when they were getting out of the ship, it just seemed off. The whole time it seemed off when they were discussing it. So I don't know. Maybe it was meant to be that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It definitely was kind of fleeting to me. I did like the blue guy.
Mythral.
That's his name?
Mythral, yeah.
I'm glad he didn't die. I'm glad he didn't die.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
It's like at the end, it's like it's Disney. You're not dying. These things don't happen.
Hey, yo, they killed my man. I have spoken at the end of this season. Like,
yeah, but like nobody that got like a comedic tone like this guy. So I was like, it's no way. For me, I was like, yeah, for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah,
He'll be around for future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
To bring that comedic touch.
Speaking of future episodes here, I mean, we gotta talk about the big elephant in the room. What kind of we got a trajectory possible for Carr. So we seen that. I mean, obviously, we'll keep it 100. There's been some controversy around her and her tweets, and Disney, and Disney doesn't like their people doing things. So she was originally going to have a spinoff. Dak said that went to a no. We're not doing that no more. But now you give her away.
No, when did they cancel that? I don't think they canceled that.
In this episode, it felt like that's what they were pushing her towards.
Yeah, it felt like they're setting her up for a big hero run.
Yeah,
that's all it felt like in this episode.
Yeah, that's too.
Like the whole leaving the thing there and her look and the back and forth and the sadness. That's all a hero setup. That's 100% a hero setup.
Yeah, I mean, unless I'm wrong, I definitely seen that they do not have plans on moving forward with that series. So, I don't know, but either way, if they do or they don't, depend on the source of wherever I seen that at, they have now we now see the way of how she can be written off the show. So, with her getting her coin, shall I say. And now, like you say, you see the kind of the brainstorming going as to like, well, what is she going to do? She feel like she doesn't fit in. They say that they can use her talent, and there's a big award to be for. She's in somebody that's walking in the same footsteps that she potentially could be doing. So I thought that was just a really good way to leave that possibility open, whether it is going to happen or not. So.
See, that's what I thought when she got it, and leaving that door open, they're leaving it open for future stuff. Like, even if they decide that, hey, like, we don't need you on this show, but if we could branch this one character off on multiple shows and then possibly give you your own show, because whenever I hear in a movie or a television show of a bigger purpose, whenever they say bigger purpose, it means that we can expand you past just where you are here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she's unfortunately for the trolls out there that don't like her tweets, she's likable, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Like, she's extremely likable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, political views aside, she hasn't done anything malicious that Disney would kind of cast her out. And it's not even on some bad press. I really felt like this episode, it literally started with her and it ended with her. This was more her episode than with Mondo's. And the fact that they had her start where the other Mandalorians kind of were residing and she was kind of just cleaning up shop. Like, it felt like that other episode with the other Mandalorians where they were being platformed to somewhere else as well. Where it goes, I have no idea. And then even deeper than that, the next episode is named The Jedi. So I'm assuming that this is Rosario Dawson's episode. I could be wrong, but what are y'all?
It ain't the child.
It ain't the child in this episode, because clearly we got confused on which episode this was between.
Yeah, I mean, I know, and at the same time too, I would never fault that, because at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's still for Mandalorian storyline purposes.
Now, what about
absolutely can articulate that, but like, yeah, where does it fit in the Star Wars saga? I mean,
what about the general? You all would know about him. I know people who read the books know about. I can't remember his name. Was it THRAWN?
Oh, the blue dude.
Yeah, because wouldn't he be somewhere in between this part of the story also?
Is he even still alive at this point, Nature? Because I don't know. I didn't look at the cartoons. I hadn't read the books. What is his name? Is it General Tar?
I don't think he's alive. because it's never crossed my mind to say that he should be alive. So I mean, again, the biggest mysteries of who's still alive has been Ahsoka, and it's been Darth Maul, because it's just like what I mean. When you assume Darth Maul was dead, then the Clone Wars and all that came out, but then we never got the resolve for that. Yeah. So General, like General who?
Thrawn.
Yeah. That's it, General Thrawn. But then we know Darth Maul was also clearly crippled a little bit and alive from the Solo movie.
Yep.
Like, and all of that, to them, one thing about Disney, everything has to be connected to everything. They'll never not do that. So, if you look at the movies versus looking at the TV show, everything is connected. So everything plays a major part on how the story moves forward. So I think maybe we're looking for a big antagonist that Carlos Esposito. Am I saying his name right? I can't remember his name. I'm trying to
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo. Yeah.
Yes.
The one that we're looking for, the big person he's working for, but maybe he's the big person.
Could be. I mean, it's not in true Star Wars fashion. Do we see the big person on the ground?
Yeah, we don't at this point with this type of show. Maybe the Mandalorian isn't meant to give you the huge reveal.
Yeah.
Maybe again, I've always thought it was a setup show. This sets up everything for a much bigger universe that they're going to attempt to branch off and build between this episodes 4 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying right? Yeah.
And so one last question to leave you guys with. So I know y'all love this adorable child.
Murderer.
Where did they get the blood to clone him? Because Yoda's been done.
Remember
the first episode?
Yeah. Remember, they didn't clone him. He's not cloned. They're using him.
Yeah.
No, I thought he came from somebody else's blood. I thought he came from.
See, now you got me tripping like I ain't watched this episode. They used him for blood to clone.
Clone things.
Yeah.
So in the first episode, episode, they got his blood when they was behind.
That's when he was just like, "What are you doing to him?"
Yeah, and that's why Mando looked weird when he heard the message of, "We got it, some of his blood, but we didn't extract enough of it."
Exactly.
Because Mando knew exactly who they were talking about when they were saying that. So the issue is they extracted some of his blood, didn't get it all. Mando thought the general was dead, so he thought that was an old message, and they like, no. He's still alive. So that's telling him that, there's all of these are new plans. Like, these aren't old plans that they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about, I mean, that all that makes sense. I'm talking about the kid's origin.
That's what
the kid was created, and then they left him incubated at this controlled area, and they needed to retrieve him back. I thought that he was always genetically designed from Yoda or somebody else. That's how I always assumed.
No, if I understand what's happening correctly here, and I know people are going to be in the comments going crazy, is that they took this kid from somewhere.
Yes.
And they said, we need him because we know his bloodlines. We know that his force line is super force sensitive. So we're going to take him, experiment on him, use that to create either a bigger army, a stronger army of clones, make whatever the hell they want to do with it.
Force sensitive clones.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
And then they realized, like, yo, if we allow that to happen, do you know what the Imperial soldiers could do? They can rule the galaxy easily with their clones without even having any Sith.
Yeah.
So they said, no, we need you to take little homie back to his people and protect, and so they can protect him. And there's, in other words, there's a balance because everything is about balance. So
what you're saying is that either the kid came from nothing or he came from a family. That's what you're saying.
It was the same. So to me, they built it that he came from a family and they took him.
Mm-hmm.
When they realized he was force sensitive, and the goal was to drain everything about him.
Interesting.
To build their army, and Mando stopped them. By taking the child, and when he stopped them from taking, because that's why they're constantly looking for the kid. They don't want to save him. They want to destroy him and take everything and put it into their army. They are not looking to raise him to be like Anakin, where you want to turn him to the dark side. They don't care about turning him into anything but plasma to use for their soldiers.
Not to mention, there's two important things to bring about that. Number one, especially now since we know the timeline, you also don't want the Anakin thing to happen again for their sake, because that didn't go good for them either. Yeah. Where they was like, "Oh, he's the guy." Oh wait, he almost destroyed everything for us. My bad. He may not be the guy, but if you make him a clone, then he's controllable. So you don't have to worry about none of that getting out of line stuff. Because like of all the clones, there's only been like one or two that's ever, one or two that kind of did their own thing. So
about Star Killer.
I was talking about the two brothers on Clone Wars. Yeah. But you're right. But I think this is a more controlled way of them, stating their dominance by saying stronger force-sensitive clones that we control. We don't want to create a Sith. That didn't go well for us.
It's just all over the map now because that's the way they want it to be. They need it to be all over the map because they need to keep you guessing.
It's small
they don't
enough,
want to give
but it's expandable.
Yeah, they don't want to give any like conclusions or anything. They need everything to remain open. Yep. I mean, Boba Fett clearly. I think they're saying he's in the next season more than this season, and that's which has
just been confirmed and start filming.
Yep, that's the only hint that they gave you to anything is that. Like, so that tells you that they're trying to build something bigger. Which, I'm just happy when he gets rid of the baby, and we get to see where this story actually goes to. Because you can't have man and baby. We don't need Gunsmoke, so you can't have them running around for 6 seasons together. Like you're gonna have to have him pass that child off and then have the story like really get to where it needs to go.
Yes. Yeah, I think, well, 2 things. I theorize that eventually the baby's gonna have to go and do his own thing, but they might do like a time jump, maybe. Kind of age him up a little bit, which would be more interesting. But I think I keep going back to like the parents that they took him from, did they just kill them? Like, why wouldn't the parents be trying to retrieve their child?
Haven't you learned, Sam? I'm gonna call you by your whole first name, Samuel. Haven't you learned your lesson from The Force Awakens about attempting to figure out what they do with parents? There is no need to worry about the parents. None. Don't worry about the parents. They don't matter here. We've learned our lesson. We waited 6 years to see where Ray came from. Nothing. Nope. We got not gonna focus on parents here. Just focus, I think, mainly focus on what are the other series that they have lined up with this series. Because that's what's going to be the most important part. What are the other series they have lined up with this one? So you got the Obi series, which I forget which one that's between, but then you got the supposed Lando series, which they have again. What's that between?
Yeah, look.
And then,
here's the other thing too. They can do, and I don't want to make this drawn out, but Disney can do what Sony only wish they could do, where they can say we're going to do a bunch of different things and none of it happens. Disney can say we're going to do all these things to get you hyped, and they'll eventually come, and we'll make it make sense. Just wait, though. Just take your time, and it's why you have to plant seeds everywhere. You got, especially Star Wars. Star Wars is all about lip service. Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants a theory. Everybody wants to be in the conversation, and it doesn't matter because once it happens, everybody either hates it or love it. But there it is.
There's only 2 shows that they have for sure already in production: Obi and Bad Batch. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess off of all that, like this episode definitely had us talking more than we normally do and theorizing more than we normally do. Was this a good episode? What did y'all think about this episode?
Oh, I love this episode. Again, I love the action. This, as Najir said, like this is movie quality, everything in this episode. Some of those scenes when they were the chase scenes were immaculate. Like I was confused at times. I'm like, wait a minute, am I watching a television show or did this like jump into an actual movie? It made no sense that some of these effects look better than Rise of the Skywalker. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Lord. Yeah, I agree, dude. We're back on the storyline. So we got what's happening with season 2. We got progression of it, as we like to sort of say the other 2 episodes was minor fillers, but this was a really big step forward in the storyline. Next week's going to be crazy. This was a very fun episode, and beyond my man over there getting Mountain Dew wasted. This, regardless of this bad writing, you can watch this episode for effects alone and just be wild.
And that is one thing about this show. It's not the best writing, but it is high quality entertainment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I really enjoyed the episode because it engaged me. It like hit a lot of different notes. I think it was directed well. I think that I don't know. There's so many different points that they kind of like. There's threads now all over the place just from this one episode alone. And anytime you can do that, you've done your job. Like for real. So I did enjoy it. I'm hyped for the next episode. Any theories on the next episode? What it's gonna be? What could happen?
Welcome to the bit screen, the live action screen. Ahsoka Tano. Let's get it.
This was a beautiful midpoint of the season episode. So naturally, in the follow-up episode to that, you have to ramp everything up because at that point, you got to fully lean into what your key story is for this season. And with it being named the Jedi for the next episode, it kind of tells you exactly where we're going here.
Ooh, unless they throw a curveball like this week and you're like, wait, the siege, what happened? But I will say this too. Don't forget, when you got 2 force sensitive people around each other, they relate on a different level. We've seen it with Leia and Rey. So we're going to see it with the man-eating child predator and Ahsoka. And let's also not forget, if you're not familiar with Ahsoka, that Ahsoka's been around the universe in ways that we haven't seen on the big screen.
True.
She may know the origins of this little predator.
Exactly. His people.
That's going to ship Mando into a whole nother trajectory. And don't forget, there's a tracking device on him. So here they come right behind them. I hope to God that Ahsoka's fate is not because of Mando here. Because she eventually dies. We don't know where. Yeah. But I hope he don't bring the whole army to her place where she's been hiding after Order 66.
I would have thought that that's exactly what they were going to do. I literally thought the moment they said tracking device is, okay, wait till he gets around more people that may relate to this kid, and then we'll take him and them and do whatever we need to do.
Also, I'll say this too. Little Moff Gideon, his troops may not be enough for her. I mean, we've seen her take down an abundance amount of people, but we just don't know the state of her at this current time. Again, she's one of the only survivors from Order 66. She's been laying low. It's going to be a coincidence that they find each other, and maybe she's so low key that she doesn't have to use the Force. But you putting around another Force sensitive person around one, that's going to open up some questions, and maybe she gets a little bit uncharacteristic. Maybe she becomes a little lax, but there's a whole army coming behind him, which is going to lead to her. So,
yeah. And I just throw one last curveball, and I shouldn't do it. Another comment section is going to be going crazy, but this actor is already under Disney's payroll. He already pretty much looks like a certain character. And if they ever did have this character come up, I don't know. I'll just put the picture up. Y'all ever think that this could happen?
Oh, by playing the younger version of Luke.
Yep. Because, like I said, he's in his 20s at this point.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I strongly doubt it. Disney has been trying its best to move away from its Skywalkers.
They've been trying.
They do not. I don't know if for Mandalorian they want to lean heavy into the Skywalker stuff, because that just opens up wounds that they don't want to have reopened at this time.
I keep getting so confused when you say Luke is young, and I was like, yeah, he's always been young. Oh, that's right. Luke was old in the last 3 movies. I keep forgetting. Oh man.
Yeah,
I think they want to focus on more people that have the Force and not just Skywalker.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I'm saying that it's almost, as much as they want to lean away from it, it's unavoidable. Like at some point,
No, it's not. You can avoid it easily.
how would Luke not? How would Luke, of all people, not know what's? Never mind. I ain't even go there. I don't want the comment to start spamming.
I mean, is he God? Should he know everything that's happening in the world?
Nah, because if he knew everything, then Kylo Ren wouldn't have did what he did.
Exactly. Yeah, like you don't have to know everything. You can have different sectors of a universe and different people doing different things. And again, this is not the show that's going to lean into anything Skywalker related.
Don't need it.
Yeah,
don't need it.
The Obi-Wan show would lean into things that are Skywalker related. This show should, and I think Disney will avoid it at all costs. They don't want anything leaning into Skywalker.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. We hit the 46 marks, the longest we've ever done. Hope you guys come back next Sunday. We will be doing another discussion on the Jedi Chapter 13. Make sure you follow these guys in the description bar below. Big Old Belt Podcast Media. Check out his YouTube channel, and as well as Lucas on Twitter, me on Twitter, Adrian on Twitter, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace, guys.